Good evening and welcome to our third episode of Sports Scene for 2015. I'm Rafaela Kaure.
And I'm Godwin Eki, filling in for Jeremy Moggy. Without any further ado, let's kickstart the show with Rugby Touch.
The Gordon's 13 Touch footage saw some talented players on the field at Gordon's Police Barracks, with 14 teams participating.
Touch enthusiasts around the barracks, including families of the police force, came to support their teams.
It was quite a tight game between each teams, and it became tough and rough on the field.
Let's take a look.
We are watching!
We've got, I think, 5 more games, 4 more rounds to go before we go into the finals. During the time, we've also changed our executives due to mismanagement and all that. We've all the clubs, 14 clubs, have gathered to elect us, the new management, to go in and complete the season for the youths.
Now, on that note, how so far has the new management team been doing?
Our new management team, I think we've put in a good board in place. We have the president, the vice president is Daniel Mune, and the president. We have the treasurer here, Patrick Severa, and the vice treasurer is also a policeman, ex-policeman Joe Rover. And we have a secretary, but he's not around at the moment. And we also have a 3 panel of judiciary in place also, instead of 1.
Now, just switching over to you, Peter. What have been the funds so far been put forward?
As for the funds, we are not getting through the funds properly, but we're just trying to organize the teams together and put them in place together.
What have been some of the previous issues that you're now, as part of the new management, trying to resolve?
The new management, we are trying to organize everything together, put the funds together, so we're going to keep the youths continue with their sports. But as for the last previous management, they have been misplacing the funds, so we are trying to organize all the things together, so we can trying to get the youths together to run the competition.
Currently, right now, how much money is being put by each of the clubs to participate in this year's competition?
We are currently 2,500 we have.
We also have the D graders who are maybe under 12 and down. They also, every morning, they play every morning, so just to get the young kids occupied and teach them how to play the game and all that. We're also trying to appeal to PNG NRL bid for packages like for the kids, maybe bags and all that sort of things. So we're just appealing to them to just come in and have a look at the young kids and try and promote the game.
The grounds do make it a little bit harder to play, but the competition still looks good.
Yes, sure. Because during the last couple of days, rainy and all that. So the young boys tried their best to play in the rain, but now you can see that pigsty has turned into concrete, and but still the interest of the young kids are up there, and they're really interested to continue with the game. So, but we just tell them just be mindful of your ankles and all that whatnot down there, because but unfortunately we were promised by the governor 5 years ago to upgrade the field, but nothing has come to date, because I think because of the competition had stalled for a while during that gap. So, but we will try our best to request for him to have a look at the field again and maybe improve the field.
Well, okay, Patrick Severa, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Now, while it does appear that the ground's rough, we've been having wonderful weather over the past couple of days, and I'm anticipating some very good touch rugby action.
Oi.
We go for a break, and coming up next, we take a look at the OFC soccer.
Congratulations, Harrison. 3-0 victory. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that, but perhaps saw the need for some improvements?
There's a lot of improvements that we need to do at this stage. It's the first game of the tournament. We expected that the boys will be nervous at the start, and it showed that in the first half we were struggling a bit, but the boys did the job at the end.
The system that we wanted to play was actually working. If you look at that first goal, the player that scored the goal was a really good goal, but he was given too much time on the ball. And it's the one thing that we've planned for, is not to give them the time before beyond with the ball, because we know technically they're very good. If you look at the second and the third goals, again, it was the same thing. It was more down to individual mistakes that resulted in the goal. And so plenty to work for, to work on for the next 4 games. But yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Now the NSL season is supposed to kick off on the 24th of January, and that'll see the home match against Hekari against ROFC. Other games will include, of course, Admiralty taking on, I think it is Besta, and over in Ley it's going to be Ley FC, the intercity clash between Ley FC and FC Port Moresby. Madang are the only squad that will be having a bye in round 1 before eventually resuming and kicking off their campaign for the 2015 season of the National Soccer League.
Will be good for our team. We have prepared today for a good game with FC Pom. Didn't work out. Just unlucky for us. But we want to see our #1 team with our other players that we have. And we just picked some of our players. Good to see the chairman of the club to be part of our second team. And we want to see him score goals against our #1 keeper today.
Now talking about the team itself, there are a bunch of new faces in that lineup, including Jamal Sito.
That's correct. Jamal and Tommy Sami, Emmanuel Simon, and Emmanuel Irem from Madang. To me, it was a joy when they called they want to be part of our team this season. I never expect that. But to me, I would say it's a joy to have them, having these many young players with a team like us, that are strong discipline, and I believe they will be they will do well and lift it. Hopefully, they will make it in the national team.
Now, just shifting towards the national team, currently, the OFC has stated that they will be using the Pacific Games as a under-23 qualifier.
Well, I'm not really sure. They are the boss, but to me, personally, as a manager of Hekari, it will be good to see our national team take part in our home turf, because I know we have a very good team. But again, it's depends to OFC, but I just hope they can change their mind and give it back to the national players. Hopefully, some of them might be, this is their last time to play in the national duty. For me personally, but again, it's depend to the big bosses in the OFC.
Coming back, the NSL is scheduled to start on the 24th, only a few weeks from now. How is the team coping? They must be very excited.
Oh yeah, we are looking forward for the league. We've been training for the past 2 months and having all these players. We have some little friendly games among ourselves, and it's unbelievable. And the thing that makes me very excited about our team this year, a good bunch of boys, and I would say most disciplined bunch of young players, and very strong rules and regulation of the club. I've seen them so far for the past 2 months. I have no problem with that, and I know they are well prepared for the big game started next weekend.
Speaking of the new faces, it is a young team. It's a little bit different from the previous Hekari sides I've seen over the years.
Yeah, we still have our senior players like Kema, Leslie, Godfrey, David, Corey, and many other of our senior ones. But having these under 23, many of them in our team, and under 20, to me, it's a good blender. Very good player from their age group, and hopefully it will be an amazing year, especially for our Oceania game.
Now, last year there were problems with the Hekari midfield. Has that been sorted for 2015?
Yes, Emmanuel Samuel have really completed our desire of our midfield. Having him and seeing him for the past two months, I'm so impressed with this young player. I would say he will be the young person I believe will replace David if one day David retired from football. He is an unbelievable player.
Speaking of another player, Alec Maimai comes back again into the country?
That's correct. He's been here for the past 2 months. He just left to get his sport visa. He's returning back on Monday. And not only that, looking good for one or two of our international players will join us. Peter Bolatonga and Taniela, they're returning in our preparation for the Oceania game, yes. Right, we are preparing very, very well so far. The only thing I always stress to our players is if our mind is very strong, physically, mentally, and we committed this to the good Lord above, and we work hard, loyal to what we are doing, I believe it's not hard for us. You know, we have done it 2010. It is only strong commitment from everyone, and I would say very good contribution from our international players like Farodo, like Gideon Omokiru and Stanley Waita. I mean, if we can do that in this Oceania game, first game, if we do well, I believe we can do well in our remaining games in our pool.
Vonnie, one last question. You were born in the Solomon Islands?
Correct.
Your husband was born here in Papua New Guinea?
Right.
Pacific Games coming up. If it is the gold medal playoff between Solomon Islands and Papua New Guinea, who are you going to support?
Well, I will support Papua New Guinea. My heart is here for many, many years. I know I'm from Solomon Islands. I would love to see PNG win because Solomon Islands has been winning many, many times in the past. I really want to see Papua New Guinea win. The reason is I worked very, very hard for the past 10 years. And I want to see the players that I have molded and helped, hopefully they can do something for our country.
Vonnie Capinato, as always, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Youths from the 6 Mile community came together to participate in a game of volleyball challenge to keep the spirit of sports in the community.
The main reason of the event was to keep the youths in the community out from trouble and to be sports oriented.
Let's take a look.
The Saraga community in the 6 Mile area of Port Moresby is made up of different ethnic groups. One thing common that took the interest of the community is sports. On the newly furbished court came the battle of the best. The competition kicked off with the women's final between Gelea in maroon and Isu Soul. Gelea's composition was determined on the game of play as they took Isu Soul. Gelea were the crowd favorites when they backed to sets, adding pressure to the women in grey. Isu Soul put to test their skills and back into contention to equalize the sets. Gelea were the one that got away with the trophy after winning the last set. In the men's playoff, Alola in blue took Gigiza. Gigiza were in form but failed on the blocks and gave way to Alola to lead in the first 2 sets. However, technical errors were reported on both sides and the officials made decision to call off the match and award the cup to Alola, while the prize money were evenly distributed. Michael Kandiu, a local businessman, supported the competition with 20,000 kina, hoping to keep the community busy during the festive season. He pledged to have this competition running for a 5-year period. The community was delighted to involve in the competition, which has brought out the best in them and put on display.
That's it for tonight, viewers. If you have any sports-related stories, please feel free to pop into our EMTV office at Boroko Garden City Building.
You can see me, Jeremy, Lorraine, Tere, or Scholar.
Or you can see myself or send us an email to sports@mtv.com.pg.
Until next time, we'll see you right here, same time, same place on Sports Scene.
On behalf of the Sports Scene crew and MTV Sports team, it's good night.
The 15th Pacific Games 2015. 22 nations compete in 28 sports to become the winner of the 15th Pacific Games 2015. Our Pacific Games. P&G brings you the South Pacific Games.